welcome. Welcome to Musical Mondays. Great to see those of you who have joined the room already. Great to see you, Inner Vortex, Denise, and the Rad Cyclist. And the Rad Cyclist, I think your first name is Victoria, am I right? Maybe let me know in the chat. Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, so, I'll just do a little bit of a preamble. Just a little bit overheated. I'm playing a song off the top. I'm not sure if you can hear that. This is a singer-songwriter from the UK in London, Art Block, who I've discovered on Twitter, and he's an amazing songwriter and singer. I love his music. This is his latest single. It's called Brother. So check him out. Just a bit of a shout out to other singer-songwriters, because I'm talking about songwriting tonight. So I wanted to play a bit of his song. So Art Block is his name. All right. So I hope you're all doing well. Hello, Alexander Dot. Hello, Big B Man 67. Woohoo! Thanks for joining, guys. I was just telling everyone else that the singer-songwriter I have playing in the background is Art Block. Singer-songwriter from the UK, London, so you might want to check him out. Great songwriter and singer. So welcome to Musical Mondays. Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. So my name's Kelly Fleming, for those of you who are joining for the first time. Rad Cyclist, it's our last name, you have his first name right, last name with a K at the end. So block as in a cement block. Yeah, and he's definitely on all the streaming platforms, so you can check him out. I've had his new song on repeat for days. There's just something about it, something about the tone of his voice and the way he put the strings and the piano together that just gets me. So tonight, I'm stalling a bit because I'm doing something that I haven't done before, which is do a little bit of workshopping a song in front of other people. So it's a bit vulnerable. And I have to say I'm inspired by another singer-songwriter that I've met on social media over the last year, and that's Jay Gregory, a wonderful artist who's from the Pacific Northwest, lives in Portland, I believe, right now. Anyway, Jay Gregory does nightly, I think, or at least 5 nights a week. And the Rad Cyclist can correct me if I get it wrong. Please feel free. But streams on Twitch. They have their own Twitch channel, and they do songwriting and different production techniques and stuff. And it's just this wonderful community that shows up to Jay Gregory's Twitch streams. So I was inspired by attending some of the Twitch streams and tuning into the great community there and all of the songwriting and creativity to try it myself, because I've been doing Musical Mondays since January. So I've been going live pretty much every week since January, which is amazing, and some of you have been with me right from the beginning, which I really appreciate. It means a lot to me, so thank you. And I've been focused on playing and singing or performing songs that I've already written and released, and then talking a bit about the songwriting process. So so that tonight's a little different, and I'll get going in just a moment. Alexandra, oh, thank you. Yeah, the move was good. Thank you. Smooth-ish. I've kind of, I've set up this, trying to set up my dream life here on Vancouver Island. So I'm moving 4 times in a 3-month period, which is a bit silly, but it's the way it is. So thank you for asking. Yes, and I have recovered. I will be moving again in a month's time. I'm in Souk right now, and I'm moving back to Victoria in a month, which I'm quite excited about. So yeah, thank you. Oh, and the Red Cyclist, yes, Jay Gregory is on the Oregon coast. Yes, thank you for that. So, you know, check out their music. I'm not very good at doing the whole live thing and typing in the chat. So it's JGR. I have to write it down. I'm so bad at this. Let's see. JGR. I'll just look it up, and I'll type it in a little bit later. Maybe somebody else might look Jay Gregory up and add it to the chat before I get to. Oh, Victoria, thank you so much. There you go. So check out Jay Gregory too. So 2 songwriters to check out for sure. So, you know, I'm between albums right now. So I'm between album cycles, and I'm releasing singles and videos every month until the end of the year, which is kind of a lot to take on. But with the pandemic and touring not happening, it's kind of the thing I've decided to do to keep my music out there. So that's a lot of activity going on for me. So it's hard to find the time to write. So I'm finding little pockets and little windows of time and space to do some writing. So because I want to start my next album sometime in the fall. So I've got a lot of writing to do. So I thought what I might do is talk a little bit about what I'm working on, maybe play a couple of snippets that I'm working on, maybe talk a little bit about the tools that I use and answer any questions that you may have, and also other artists, other songwriters, writers who are joining us tonight. Please feel free to ask questions and to share some of your process, because that would be cool to have a little back and forth. And hello, Marty Zylstra Music. Thank you for joining, Marty. Another songwriter has joined us. Amazing. So maybe what I'll do, I'll play a little snippet. This is something I've been working on. Doesn't have a name yet. It doesn't actually even have lyrics. It sort of has a bit of a melody. But anyway, I'm playing with different things, and you know, you can tell me what you think of it. You know, I should say that my songwriting process is kind of different and varied. It changes. Sometimes I write little hooks or snippets on my guitar and go from there. Sometimes I write some words or melody first. Sometimes they happen at the same time. And if I'm co-writing with other people, it's all, again, a completely different process. And I have done a lot of co-writing with a singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist who lives in Vancouver named Ron Yamauchi, who's a very talented fellow. We've done quite a bit of songwriting together, and we're going to continue doing that. So that's an entirely different process. So anyway, this little snippet goes a little bit like this. I got it without a capo right now, but I might capo it at some point. Anyway, I'll just stop talking and play a little bit. So there's a plucked version of that. That's kind of the progression I'm working with, but there's also there's something rhythmic in this one that I really like, that's kind of getting a bit of an earworm for me. Hello, James 428. Thanks for joining. So to strum, yeah, a little, you know, something like that. You know, and every time I write a song, and I don't know if the rest of you who are songwriters think of that, or creators think that too, but whenever I sit down to write a new song, I'm like, this sounds like everything else I've written. And then it takes me a while to kind of be able to take a step back from that. And sometimes it takes other ears to tell me, no, that's actually pretty different. But you know, with this little progression, I was worried at first that it sounded a lot like my song, The Latest Meme. But you know, I was listening to it last night. I sat down and listened to it. It's like, that doesn't sound anything like it. I mean, key and chord structure is pretty different. But anyway, I don't know. If I saw some hearts going by, so maybe some of you also have that experience. And you know, sometimes I chalk that up to that maybe I've had the song in my head or somewhere in there, in my inner neural circuitry, flying around without even really realizing it. And you know, my last album I titled The Song I'll Write for My Whole Life, because I kind of feel like as an artist and as a singer and singer-songwriter, I feel like I do have a soundtrack for my life, and I do have sounds that are just part of me that come out in song sometimes. So perhaps this is one of those that's been with me for a long time, but I just haven't been able to get it out of the brain, the spirit, the soul, the everything before. Let's see some questions. Do you record a voice memo scratch version? Thank you for the question, Marty. It's a great question. Yes, I do. I often do that. Yeah, one of the tools I use is just the little voice memo app on my phone. And, you know, if you see me walking around places, you might see me with my phone like this, talking into my phone. I'm probably either reciting words or singing a little melody, but I do that quite a bit. And I do that with I'll sit down with my guitar and just record a voice memo too, just so that I can keep it. It helps me give perspective too as I'm writing, because I can see how the idea changes shape and progresses over time. Do you do that too? I find that really helpful. Alexandra's saying, I wonder how lyrics, oh, you wonder how the lyrics are gonna go for this one? Yeah, me too. And thank you for saying you like the chord progression. You know, and I'll just play something over and over again. I think my partner probably wants to kill me sometimes, hearing the same thing over and over again, and she gets earworms really easily, so she will then start singing or humming songs that I'm working on. I'm like, wait a second, where did you get that? She's like, you've just been playing it nonstop for weeks. So it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. So Marty, you use the voice memo tool too. That's cool. You know, another tool that I've used on my phone is a tool called Frettable. It's a little app, and you know, it's mostly because I'm lazy. I will record something, especially if I capo something up the frets. I'll be kind of lazy about sitting down and mapping out exactly what the progression is and the music and the key and everything, so I'll let Frettable do it for me. So I'll record a little version of myself playing the song and then get it to transpose it or notate it for me. I could play those 3 chords and resolve the 4th chord. So the A minor, you mean? So I'm doing, it's an F, G, E a suspension. Or do you mean the major, as in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. Oh, I get what you're saying. Like that. More so. Yeah, you see, I love hearing how other people hear things, because that's something I would never think of. There's something about, yeah, I love that. Thank you, Marty. Yeah, I like that kind of thing too. It's a great idea. Thank you. Did it 3 times. That gives you, doing that kind of thing. Okay, Denise is liking that too. Doing that kind of thing gives the vocals more space too. Because if I just put out a song, or if I did the song like this, there's not a lot of room for the vocal line. So, yeah. And the Brainerd just joined. Thank you for joining. Nice to see you. Yeah, me too. Yeah, thanks, Marty. Marty says he likes playing around with chord placements to strengthen the melody. Yes, for sure. Definitely. And that's something I would say in my last album, I got a little more adventurous with that. And I would say that it was the experience of working with another songwriter, because my previous album was a complete 50-50 co-write with Ron, who I mentioned earlier, Ron Yamauchi, where we co-wrote almost all of the songs on the album, I think except for 2, which there was one written fully by me and one written fully by Ron, but the rest of them were complete co-writes. So that really changed my process quite a bit. So it got me a little more adventurous, and I so appreciate the reminder, Marty, for that. If I keep that in there, I will give you a shout out in the songwriting course. That's great. So if I change that, let's see. And I could repeat it. Okay, now I'm getting the rhythm a little better, I think. You know what? I'm liking that better. Hello, Jenny B. Thank you for joining. You guys are so awesome. Oh, no worries. I'm liking that. Will she remember? I have it on video. That is the good thing. I can go back. Or I can always DM you, Marty, and say, remind me what you said. Okay, let's see if I can do this again. I seem to like to do that progression 3 times. I have this feeling that the end of the line is kind of a stutter step like that. And I'm not sure if that is a chorus or leading into a chorus, or maybe it's a chorusless song, so we'll see how that goes. Hello, Cannabis for Rec. Thanks for joining. I'm already saying the major is nice, very 60s. You know who? Yes, I do. Yeah, thank you. So maybe I'll do this one more time. You know, and in terms of lyrics, I should actually show you what I'm looking at, because you're probably seeing me looking down. I have my little octopus book here. This is, I think, when did I start this one? May 2018, so this is kind of all my songwriting since May 2018, and this one I'm almost at the end. And so I'm looking at this page here, and I'm holding it carefully because I have all kinds of little bits of paper and stuff stuffed in the pages that'll fall out. But this is kind of how I do it. I write stuff down in my books, or record on my phone when I'm out walking. So, you know, I have a bunch of like little snippets of lyrics, and, you know, maybe I'll just talk about a couple of lyrical ideas. And Marty, you use an iPad. So do you use that for writing your lyrics, or are you using GarageBand to do a little recording on that iPad? Yeah, so a couple of little lyrical snips. You know, my writing the last few years has really focused on, how can I say this without sounding too depressing? The end of the world. You know that song by REM, It's the End of the World as We Know It? Yeah. Okay, notebooks are best. Lyrics. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. Rad Cyclist, notebooks are best. Yeah, you know, I have a box of notebooks that haven't even been cracked open yet because I love them so much. When I see one I like, I buy it. Like, so I have this one with with some octopi on it. I also have this one with also sea creatures, clearly going through an octopus phase. Squid and octopus. This one is also a music book, but it's more for me keeping track of what I'm doing with the marketing side of my music career. So not the creative side. This is my business book. The other one's my creative book. Yeah, so let's see, the REM song. It's the end of the world as we know it. You know that one? It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. I should relearn that song because I used to play that as a cover when I was in that pop band a number of years ago in Vancouver, but I've forgotten it. I should relearn that one. But I digress. So, yeah, I love having a notebook stash too. Yeah, so my writing has really been focused on what's happening in the world, not so much with politics, but of course there's a lot there as well, but really kind of observing and experiencing some of the really, to me, really frightening things that I'm seeing in terms of changes in climate and the environment, and just some of the horrible disasters that have happened have really affected me over the last few years. And you know, I would say I think it was probably 2018, and I'm trying to remember what happened in 2018. I think Vancouver and kind of like southern BC was blanketed in wildfire smoke. I think that was one of the really bad years, and I was really angry and depressed, I think. Hello, said Judo, thanks for joining. I was really angry and depressed during that whole summer, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. I was kind of beside myself, and I was obsessed with reading disaster stuff. So I started to channel it in my writing. And that helped me. I mean, it just helped me be able to process my anger and kind of my fear and my grief, I guess. So I think my writing is about grieving, or it tells stories from the point of view of characters who are grieving maybe what once was or what they're afraid of losing. So it might not be so literal as thinking about changing climate or species falling extinct. It might be told through the perspective of a love story, which my last single was in See in Me. So that's a long way to getting to saying that my writing right now seems to be a little bit focused on that too. So some of my snippets are still kind of in that realm where I've got some rough words that I've been sketching, and the title is The Middle of the End, because I don't think we're at the beginning of the end or the end of the end. We're kind of at the middle of the end. So in my writing too, I'm an eternally hopeful person, and I believe in the inherent goodness of people. So I do feel like there's hope that we do have time to turn things around. So I think that's what I'm trying to get at in this little bit of writing. So I don't think I'm ready to share those words yet, other than that title and the concept. But what I will promise to do is work that into that chord progression and that nice little shift and turnaround that Marty suggested, and bring that back to Musical Mondays maybe in a few weeks' time. So yeah, so that's why I will do that. Let's see, I've been talking for a while, so let's see. The comments are: Rad Cyclist, Forests on Fire, it was brutal. Yes, it was. And I know we've had multiple years here on the West Coast and also in California and Australia of that. It's been pretty brutal. And Marty, it changed your perspective. Yeah, it totally did for me too. And Alexandra, I believe in us. Yes, I do too. I have to. Otherwise, yeah, just wouldn't make sense not to. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Let's see. What time are we at? 7:59. So I'm looking at the time because I usually try and keep these under 30 minutes, because they're easier to download on my phone, and I think I can save snippets of the Instagram one. It's easy. Anyway, I'm not explaining it well, but I try and keep them under 30 minutes. So that it's easier for me to reshare. So I probably will pause there and take away the lovely energy you've all given me tonight, and comments and feedback, and pour that into trying to work on this song over the next couple of weeks. So I probably won't bring anything back next week. I might bring another one next week. I do have another one that's a little further along than this one that I might bring in. And yeah, I might sign off now. And oh, good, Denise, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming. Yeah, so I might sign off and say thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Kelly Fleming, Musical Mondays. I really appreciate you tuning in. Off the top of the show, I played a song by a singer-songwriter from the UK, London, Art Block, B-L-O-C-K, so check him out. And also I mentioned Jay Gregory, who's a singer-songwriter from the Oregon coast. Check them out as well. And other artists here on the call in the room that I know about are Marty Zylstra. Check out his music, and Alexandra. And if I've missed anybody, please, feel free to say so in the chat. Thanks, everyone. Take good care, and hopefully see you next week. Peace out.